Hey, welcome everybody. We are doing another exciting virtual book festival here at Pages Promotions. Tonight is leg one of our Summer Reading Regatta. Tonight we're going to be doing science fiction with Holly Esch, DM Taylor, and Brent D. Seth. We're going to have a great time tonight. My harbor crew is here and ready to go, helping out. Kate McNeil, Christopher Gare, Brent Seth is also on the harbor crew. Deborah Reed is here, and Andrew Smith. We're going to have a great time tonight. So let's see if we can kick this off. Andrew, can you pretty please, talk about our Sailor Shores School?
Absolutely. And since this is the first one, please bear with me a little because I'll get my rhythm as the month goes on. But we have, just like the one in February, we've got some tremendous and fantastic people that are putting themselves out there and trying to help everyone. It's changed a little. It's $5 to join. That's not much. You still get more than your money's worth. We're going to start out the month. Let me get it right. We're going to start out the month on June 7th with Carolyn Topperman, Views Port and Starboard, and she's going to give us good writing prompts. Let's let your pen go a little crazy and see the world around you in a more descriptive way. Then on June 10th, we're going to have Kate McNeil. All aboard! She's going to have a ready-made team of readers and reviewers and talk about book launches and how you can do them better. Want some good feedback? She's going to give you ways of getting that feedback and taking it a little further. Then on the 15th, our own D.A. Reed is going to give us You Had Me at the Hook. And she's going to be talking about the hook, how you get your readers hooked in with those first couple of lines. Very concise ways of writing great sentences and great ways to get our readers involved. On the 27th, I'll be joining again, and this time I'm going to talk a little bit about weapons, and we're going to have some fun videos and some great ways to describe weapons so that the details don't get lost and your readers go, oh, that makes sense and that works. And this time, Christopher Gare and Brent Seth are going to end it all with Land Ho! And how you can build a virtual world and just make it an awesome place for your characters to grow and be. This is going to be fantastic. They're only $5 live, $10 the replay. You get access to the video if you get things live, and you get a transcript this time. That's even better, so you can go through it. Wow, transcript. This is going to be great. Cheap at 10 times the price. Jump in, be a part. This is a great part of each one of these events, giving everybody a little bit more.
Absolutely. Thank you, okay. Andrew. I appreciate you doing that, Andrew. You always do it so well. And I know we're going to have a lot more fun as the month progresses. We're going to have an absolute blast. I think we're doing 27 days of events, including 5 workshops. As Andrew mentioned, you do get a transcript this time with the workshops. I've discovered some new technology to help us do that. So that's going to be super exciting. And we're giving away a ton of stuff this time around. We have some super amazing prizes for a new feature called Life Raft Lottery, which we're going to be doing. And we have over 145 books that we're giving away this month. So it's pretty exciting stuff. How do you get in on this? Well, you do what you're doing tonight. You join us, sign up before 6 p.m. each night, get your name on the spinning wheel of happiness, and if you win, you get free books. It's really that simple. So tonight, we're going to start off with Danielle Taylor. DM Taylor is her pen name. Let me show you her astounding book, and she's going to talk a little bit about herself, where she comes from, how she does this stuff that she does in the amazing science fiction world. Danielle, please take the helm.
All right. So tonight I'm going to be reading from The Reckoning, which is the first in a series. The second book is also out. And this week I will be finishing the first rough draft of the third book. So that's coming soon as well. This is going to be a book series.
Spectacular. That's so cool. I'm so excited about this. You're just such a dynamic author, and I'm really excited to share you with the world. Give us a little understanding about how you decided to choose science fiction as your genre of choice.
So it started with the concept of time travel. So I didn't initially think I wanted to write a science fiction novel, but I knew I wanted to have time travel be an element that moved my story along. And as I dug into the story, it just became more and more science fiction based. I think it's a pretty good mix of science fiction thriller.
Awesome. Excellent. So would you say that these books are accessible? And we know they're accessible for an adult audience, but do you think that perhaps a young adult audience would also enjoy them, or would you think that they're more for a more mature audience?
I would say it's for a more mature audience, only because there are some sensitive topics that are addressed. There's minimal swears in it, but I have had some young adults read the first book. I'm a previous teacher. I taught sixth grade for a lot of years, so I'm hesitant to suggest young adult because I'm always trying to not give them things that could be inappropriate.
Sure. And for anyone who visits our harbor store this month, you'll see in the catalog each one of the books do have rating guidelines. So at the beginning of the catalog, you'll see the rating guidelines, and then each book does have its rating icons, so that when people page through the harbor store catalog, they'll be able to get a better idea of the audience for a particular book. So just to keep that in mind as we move forward. Danielle, would you like to take the helm and read for us?
All righty.
Awesome.
Exasperated and unblinking, her eyes widened. Dakota held up 3 fingers and blurted, "The 3 key Patriot Party leaders are waiting for you in your office. Apparently, a great national security has been breached with the initial stages of attack on the Federal Communications Commission. No one in the entire country can make phone calls, go online, or get telephone or even radio reception." Dakota took a deep breath before she continued the rest of her update. Like a conductor of an orchestra setting up for a massive crescendo, she raised her left hand toward me, palm flat, as if to tell me to stop talking, which I wasn't even thinking about doing. I absolutely had no words at this point. And Tayden, if you think that's hard to believe, you are not going to believe this next part. They are here to brief you about it. She nudged me along the corridor to my office in a hurry. Her string of words was hard to believe. I had never been privy to national security before. The fact that I'd been acquired by the government to discover a technology they wanted had never before meant being a part of any security briefings. Of course, my natural curiosity would lead me to question my bosses and come to my own conclusions regarding the purpose of my discoveries. The main objective to this mission seemed quite obvious with the dismantling of our democracy taking place. The details of how and why were not a part of this scientist's agenda, though. In an anxiety-induced hysteria, I turned to Dakota, desperately hoping she might know more. All she could do at this point was escort me to the room where it was about to happen, whatever it was. My nerves were wrapped around themselves, tightening across all parts of my body responsible for breathing as I kept walking. Upon reaching the windows outside my office, Dakota stopped to watch the rest out of eyesight, which meant I was on my own. A quick count confirmed there were indeed 3 quite serious agents in intimidating dark suits with equally dark expressions hanging on their faces. The woman, with deep raven hair, black eyes, and a jawline so sharp it could cut open a box, was Danica Farkas, head director of the Patriot Party. Along with her was Joseph Warren, who reminded me of my dad. Tall, thin, looking like he must be somewhere very important very soon. The third person was Bernard Richardson. He was clearly the muscle in the room. He stood stoically on guard, ready to save us all if needed. They were waiting for me in stony silence. Blushing with embarrassment, I considered they could have been waiting a while. A minor detail I forgot to find out from Dakota. Simultaneously, I noticed the piles of paper spread across my desk and the many messy stacks of them scattered at random throughout my office. For a woman of science at my level, it was just as embarrassing that I still use paper notebooks as it was to have such a disheveled office. Without missing a beat, my face pulled into an important business-like expression before entering through the office doors, pausing once at the awareness that it felt as if I was the guest here. Welcome, I said as I made eye contact with each of the agents, Miss Farkas, Mr. Richardson, Mr. Warren. I apologize for keeping you waiting. It's been a strange morning and I wasn't able to call the office. I had no idea you were coming today, or I certainly would have been better prepared for your visit. How can I help my fellow patriots? Bernard, still standing closest to me near the glass door, closed it with his foot. Once the door was shut, Danica, sitting at my desk, gestured for me to take a seat in the chair next to Joseph, who had been watching me with a masked expression. Danica's powerful presence at my modest laminate desk was an oxymoron. A throne would have better suited her. She spoke with a hint of desperation as I sat down, full of anticipation on one of the chairs across from her. Dr. Barrett, we are here this afternoon to find out how close you are to your breakthrough. Obvious from the grim tone in the room, this impromptu meeting with the Patriot Party wasn't simply an update on my work. Normally, these meetings were scheduled well in advance with an agenda to follow, a process I much preferred to this surprise visit. Clearing my throat, I said, I'm actually glad that you're here today. We are on the verge of being able to test time travel on humans. My team has cracked the process of leaping backwards into the time continuum, though only in increments of minutes so far. I can take you to the lab and show you a demonstration if Dakota inched forward in my chair and widened her eyes with purpose as she interrupted my offer. You have it then? We need this to be a priority. A priority? This was my entire life. It was the only priority I'd ever had. I'll stop there.
Yay! Thank you very, very much. That was super fun. Did that in 4 minutes. Good job. So as I was hearing that, you read it so eloquently. It really feels like it's a part of you. Is there a part of you in this book? And if so, how much of you is in this book?
I would say that I am in all the characters equally. So it's definitely a story of love from me. Like it's a love project that I have been working on, and I'm ready to be finished with it because it does open up a lot of painful wounds as well as just personal things like that. But it's definitely a labor of love, this series.
Awesome. Very good. And you say there's one more in the trilogy before you move on to your next project?
Up right now.
Excellent. When do you expect that to come out?
Well, first rough draft is going to be done about this week. So I would estimate like in the fall it'll be released.
Fantastic. Good for you. Congratulations. So when you come back in October, you'll have a new book to read from, right?
Yep, I have a complete series.
Yay! Just to let everyone know in the audience, we're going to be chatting tonight. So feel free to put questions into the chat box that you would like us to ask of the authors, and the Harbor crew will help me to make sure that I don't miss any of them. So Danielle, what was the hardest part about writing this?
I would say that the most painful part about writing this is the editing process. Like it is rough, man. It's like the rough draft process feels like magic. You know, you get on this like euphoria where you're writing, just you don't even know what's happening, but editing is harsh. Yeah,
I don't know a lot of authors who enjoy the editorial process. I like it, but it's what I do for a living. So I'm a little odd in that respect.
That's such a surprise.
Gary wants to know how much of current climate come into the science fiction climate.
So the second book, oddly, I finished it at the start of the quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had more than enough readers who are like, did you actually time travel into the future? Because there's some eerie kind of like similarities of what ended up happening. And I finished it so closely to when all current climate of what was going on started happening. It was kind of bizarre.
Yeah. I love how Kismet just kind of intervenes that way. Super fun. Thank you so much for your reading. I really appreciate it. For anyone who wants to be reminded, I'm going to do this for all of our authors. Here is Danielle's book again. This is The Reckoning, And you can find her in our Harbor catalog at DM Taylor and under the science fiction category genre. Oh, what are we calling them this time? Oh yeah, ports of call. Under the science fiction port of call, you will find Danielle's work. Thank you so much, Danielle, for reading for us tonight. Next, we're going to move on to Brent D. Seth. Brent wrote a book called Short Fuse, and this is the sequel, Loose Cannon. Brent, if you would please take the helm and tell us a little bit about your book and yourself, if you would.
Hello, my name is Brent Seth. I'm originally from Illinois. I now live here in Detroit. I've been writing for many years, but like I always say, I've got 7 novels buried in the backyard. And Short Fuse, which I'm going to be reading from tonight, is the first one I ever wrote that I thought, this people might actually want to read this. And I was originally signed with a small press that's closed now, so now I've gone independent.
We welcome you. Thank you very much for joining the fleet. What was the inspiration for this story? Give us a little background of the story and then tell us what the inspiration was for you writing.
First of all, I started thinking about, okay, I was getting old. My favorite cat, Leo, was getting old. And I started thinking about how can you get around getting old? And so that's why you need higher technology. And that's pretty much what started. I came up with an excuse to where I could fantasize about not being so old and not having to watch my cat die. And it turned into a comedy farce after that.
Wow. That's an interesting left turn.
And when I started writing it, again, I was just doing it to amuse myself. I wasn't even taking it seriously, which really unfettered me from so many things because I'm writing it with the intention that no one's even going to see it. And that's very
then
free.
You got brave. Good for you.
Yeah.
What would you say is, without giving away any spoilers, what would you say is the most, I don't like the word shocking, but the most unusual thing that readers are going to find in your work?
Well, yeah, the solution. I mean, let's just say the hero does something pretty appalling if you really think about it to
Okay.
solve everything. But they had it coming.
Okay. As long as it's, properly placed retribution. That's good. Okay. Would you, sir, take the helm and read a little bit for us?
Okay. In my arms, Leo became agitated. Although nothing suggesting danger caught my attention, I knew cats have a much better sense than humans. If he detected danger, then danger was close. Stop, I whispered urgently. Something's wrong. Tony stopped and looked back. He watched quietly as Leo sniffed the air, his coat bristling. We proceeded carefully, taking an extensive survey with each step. After a time, even the atmosphere seemed menacing. The alert was not false, though it had certainly been in vain. A sharp bend in the corridor delivered us straight into the path of a single Gorlak. The creature cried out. More Gorlaks must have been trailing us for some time and launched their attack. We could hear their rapid sloshing as they hurried to seal our trap. Tony quickly aimed his weapon at the forward Gorlak. The barrel pointed carefully at the large orb held aloft. He squeezed the trigger. Yeah, nothing happened. The Gorlak, however, deciphered Tony's intention and with one of its legs, swiped at the man like someone shooing a fly. Tony still clutched the useless gun as he slammed into the mossy bulkhead. 2 more Gorlaks charged from behind. The noose closed. My legs and throat froze as I tried to pull Leo closer to my chest. But the small cat had other ideas. He wriggled free from my embrace and used my arm as a platform from which to launch himself onto the nearest Gorlak. Hissing as he flew, Leo made contact with the large orb-like head, swiping at the single large eye with razor-sharp claws. The creature reacted and threw his whole body to one side. Leo jumped clear of the flailing limbs and, without pause, used his claws and natural feline abilities to scale the nearest wall and disappeared into a high gap. One of the Gorlaks, very limber for their size, scurried up in pursuit of Leo, but had no chance of following him into the narrow opening. The last Gorlak ran to assist the one injured by Leo's attack. The four-facing corridor was now open. I hated leaving my beloved cat behind, but Leo seemed to have an advantage in this environment, perhaps even more than those who dwelled here. Deciding he was safer, Deciding he was safer running free than we were at this moment, I ran. Tony close behind, still holding his gun aloft despite how little it helped us only moments ago. We abandoned all caution and deliberation as we plowed through several intersections, arriving in a large chamber. Now, when trying to hide aboard an alien spacecraft, the best place to begin is really probably not the command deck. For one thing, they are usually well lit, as was the case with the one we just stormed into. And secondly, they are very rarely empty. Again, same goes for the one we just stormed into. Whoever these beings employing the Gorlax were, they certainly did not lack electric lights or staff. The place was packed. Perhaps 36 members of their crew, and they were also well armed. "Hello," I said to pursed lips. "Anyone got a light?" One of the aliens hobbled towards us. It was clear at a glance why they needed the Gorlax. Mobility was certainly an issue with them. They all had a dense gray-brown columnar frame, rough and irregular, much like the walls of their ship. Masses of white tubular fingers of varying sizes, all of which tapered to fine points a few feet from their base, supported the trunk. Tentacles protruded from the upper areas of their bodies in what appeared a completely arbitrary arrangement, each ending in clumps of the same white tubes. I couldn't see any kind of face on the creatures, or even a head for that matter. Only an expansion in their upper torsos where dimples and protruding nodules may function as sensory organs. This assemblage of features differed radically in structure from one individual to another, but all of them displayed sporadic green flappy blade-like spikes. The alien approaching us did not speak, but seemed to study us with its strange pseudo-face. I had an impression that it must be female, as it was wearing some kind of flower near the top of her head. I was shocked to realize, as she came close enough to see properly, the flower was not an accessory. "It's a freaking plant!" Tony screamed. "We've been abducted by a damn garden." The flowering plant observed us carefully for a moment. With one of her branches, she took the gun from Tony. More of them closed in on us, creating a sense of incarceration by a shrinking forest. I felt a tentacle examine the back of my head. Its touch was gentle but intrusive. The root-like fingers probed my scalp. That's all.
Well done. Good job. Yay! Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
So I'm really curious about how you came about writing the combination of science fiction and humor. So much of what we see in science fiction is really serious stuff. How did you decide to approach this genre from a humor point of view?
I was out to lunch for years, apparently, with my own writing. And when I looked back at all the old stuff, the comedy parts were good. No matter how bad the story is, wherever there was a funny line or a funny scene, okay, that works. So why not just stick with what works? And so it just came naturally.
Okay.
And also, I think, and though I've always loved sci-fi, there is something that's just inherently absurd about it, and it's just so easy to ridicule. And so it's because alien abductions. Okay, there's no way you can't make a joke about that.
Absolutely.
So it's just very easy.
Yeah. Well, we've seen so many parodies about Star Trek and Star Wars that it really does seem to be an easy reach for a lot of authors. It wouldn't be for me, but kudos to you for doing that. You're braver than I, sir. What was the most compelling characteristic that your hero embodies? Whether that's positive compelling or negative compelling, what do you think is the most compelling attribute of your hero?
His unwillingness to do anything. I mean, he is the classic anti-hero. He doesn't want to be a hero, wants no part of it. But when it's forced, that's kind of one of the reasons why the cat is so important, because the cat is his motivation. he's obligated to protect his cat.
Awesome. Very good. I like it. Your books have been on my TBR list since I met you, and I promise I'm getting to them. Really. But you know, Christopher keeps writing more books, so what am I going to do?
Actually, if I could interject real quick, I've read both his
Absolutely.
books. And when Brent said he had been out to lunch with his writing, if you have ever gone out to lunch with Brent, you will know in a heartbeat that there is no way in heck he could ever write a book and not have comedy in it.
Well,
I
Spectacular.
mean, it's amazing. And his hero almost reminds me a little bit of Kurt Russell's character in Big Trouble in Little China. Sort of the hero that doesn't realize he's going to do something heroic. He's not trying to do it. It completely happens by accident. And it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Spectacular. Andrew, did you have something?
Yeah, I did. Brent, you had such detail with your aliens on the bridge. I was really impressed with how much detail you put there. When you got to the point of them being a garden, I mean, what inspired you to go that direction?
No, you can't see it from here, but there's a house plant right in front of my desk that I've named the General. And it's got that very plant. When I was trying to come up with a new alien, I was pacing through the house because I always pace when I think, and I looked at that plant. I said, no, that's stupid. Kept pacing. No, that's silly. Kept looking, it kept coming back to it, and finally I decided, you know what, that's obviously it's got to be a plant.
Sometimes we have
Very
to
good.
exercise our demons by writing them into our manuscripts.
2 notes on this. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, go ahead, Daniel.
2 things I really like about this is the comedy and the cat, because I feel like science fiction can be off-putting to a lot of readers. They just don't automatically think, well, I don't like science fiction. It's too hardcore for me, or it's too smart for me to read, or whatnot. And I feel like having relatable avenues like you have in your story, humor, and a cat who can't be related to that, it's a welcoming way to come in and enjoy a new type of story that a lot of people won't give a chance.
And also, as far as relatability, the main character, Jason, his previous job was a grocery clerk.
Oh, even better. What
Even better.
fun. Oh my God. I need to learn how to read faster. You guys are just creating some spectacular work. So again, let me show you this amazing Captain's book so that you can remember to look for it in our Harbor Store catalog. This is Brent D. Seth and his book Loose Cannon, which is book 2 in the Short Fuse series.
Yep.
Brent, is there another book coming up in this series?
I'm planning a 3rd book of specifically these characters, but right now I'm working on a standalone, kind of an offshoot, almost a spin-off of
Okay.
a minor character who's in both of these books, who I thought really deserved her own story.
Awesome.
And so that's what I'm working on right now. So that'll come out first, and then I'll go back to the 3rd one.
Hey, I love it when writers take on different projects like that. It's so much fun to see the diversity in the work. And our community is so diverse to begin with. And then when authors, we're special in that we don't have reputations to live up to just yet, which means we get to take those extra risks and write some stuff that maybe Stephen King couldn't get away with. So it's really for me, one of the most exciting parts about working in the indie author community is that we have that opportunity. Miss Holly.
Hello.
Welcome. I'm so glad you're here with us tonight. You're a new author to our community, and I want to welcome you, and I hope that you feel like family now.
Of course I do.
Excellent. I'm so excited to hear about this. The synopsis for me was really compelling, and I love the artwork on the covers. So I'm going to show everybody Holly Ash, the Captain of Wonderment, we're going to hear from next. This book is called Crystal and Flint. It is, correct me if I'm wrong, Holly, the first in a series?
It is. It's the first in a 5-book series. It's underwater military science fiction. So we're talking submarines and underwater colonies for this series.
Oh, how cool. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. I loved your growing up. So that's really, really cool. How many books, if 5 books in the series, are all 5 of them out?
No, there are 3 out right now, Crystal and Flint. The second book is Family Binds, and the third book is called Thicker Than Blood. I am working on book 4 right now that will be out in December, and that's called Shattered Refuge.
Extraordinary. Wow, that's great. I like how prolific everybody is. This is so much fun. It's so much more exciting to talk about multiple works than to just say, okay, so I wrote a book.
Mm-hmm.
This is so much fun. Tell me a little bit about this world that you've created. Give us a little bit of setup for the story before you read.
Sure. So the series takes place on a planet called Neophia, which was colonized by humans 300 years before the story takes place. And a lot of the conflict in these books and what's kind of building up between war on this planet is how much influence humans and Earth should still have over this planet, because they are so ingrained in their culture right now. And in this series, Earth is the more technologically advanced planet. So we have the species are human-like and they've interbred with different abilities. The native species, the Akinians, can breathe underwater, and the Surtex can camouflage and make themselves invisible. So we have some of the dynamic working here. A lot of different discrimination goes through a lot of the stories on what planet is better.
That's great. As I'm hearing you talk about it, I don't know if everybody else, I have a 30-year-old son who's been a superhero fan for his entire life. So I immediately think of Marvel and DC Comics. Is any of that influential in your writing?
Not when I started. I got into Marvel real late. These books were actually inspired by a 90s TV show called Sequest that I learned to writing fan fiction for that, and took some of these characters my friends and I made to insert in that story and gave them their own little world here to play in. So
incredible. Is any of that still accessible for fans to read?
None of my fan fiction is. No, I was in junior high and it's awful. I have translated a lot of the plot lines into some of these books, so there's hints of what I was there, but me and my friend would pass it back and forth. We were the only ones that ever read it, and it's probably going to stay locked away that way.
I understand that. But everybody's got their cut their literary teeth on something, right?
Absolutely.
We all have to practice. So what is the most compelling aspect? I'm going to ask you like I asked Brent, what's the most compelling aspect of your hero?
So this is a dual point of view story. So I have 2 main characters that really play off of each other. Crystal Wolf, Lieutenant Commander Crystal Wolf, who I feel is the main character. When I was creating her, I wanted her to be perfect, this person I could look up to. I needed that role model in my life when I created her. But just like a normal Crystal, she has this deep inner flaw of abandonment and closed off, and a lot of emotional turmoil that she keeps hidden deep down. And it's real interesting to see how that comes out into play in the books.
Awesome. Wow. Yeah, I got to learn how to read faster. Okay. Miss Holly, would you please take the helm and read for us?
Absolutely. Sure. The stiff plastic chair in the medical center waiting room provided little comfort. Desi had finished with the doctor and had been told that aside from a sprained ankle, there was nothing wrong with her. That knowledge didn't do much to stop every muscle in her body from aching, though. It had been a long time since Desi had been in a fist fight, and Wolf was good. She assumed Wolf could have caused a lot more damage if she had really wanted to. Maybe Desi should reconsider brushing up on her hand-to-hand combat skills, she thought, if only to prevent being upstaged by Wolf again. 2 bruised ribs, nice work, Wolf said as she came back into the waiting room. Desi was surprised that there wasn't a hint of malice in Wolf's voice. If someone had given Desi 2 bruised ribs, she would have been pissed. You didn't do so bad yourself. Desi lifted her pant leg, exposing a bandaged ankle. She attempted to mimic Wolf's friendly tone, but she kept her guard up. Is it broken? No, just sprained. Good. I'd hate to put you out of commission already. I've watched you shoot. You're really good, Wolf said. Thanks. Desi was taken aback by the compliment. Had Wolf hit her head during the fight? This wasn't the stuck-up know-it-all she had been putting up with all week. How about that, Desi said, motioning towards Wolf's ribs. Will it slow you down any? No, I've survived worse. Besides, you're not the first person to kick me in the chest, and I doubt you'll be the last. Oh, so this is a common occurrence with you, Desi joked. Unfortunately, Wolf said with a self-deprecating laugh. That's the thing about combat here. It's subtle, intimate. War is war, no matter what planet you're on, Desi said. But we're not at war. This is peacetime. Call it what you want, it's all the same. Just when I was starting to like you, Wolf said with a sigh. What's that supposed to mean? Desi asked offensively. You're arrogant, Lieutenant, just like the rest of your planet, and that arrogance is going to get someone killed one day. Wolf's matter-of-fact tone made Desi angrier than her words did. You're saying Earth is the arrogant planet, Desi said in disbelief. She rose to her feet, taking care not to put her full weight on her injured ankle. If Wolf wanted to go for round 2, she was ready. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, Wolf said calmly. Humans always seem to forget that you were the ones who sent out a spacecraft to find a new place to live. You were the ones who came to Neophia seeking help and sanctuary. Your planet has been ripping itself apart for centuries. You can't even breathe on Earth anymore without the air regenerators, and you've killed nearly everything that once grew there. Still, though, you think you're so much better than us, that you're so superior with all of your technology that just winds up disconnecting you from the person next to you, and your advanced weaponry that causes more wars than it solves. If that's the way of the future, you can keep it. We don't want it here. Wolf's voice held no hatred or malice, just a deep frustration. That didn't do much to squelch Desi's anger, though. Wolf had insulted her home, and she felt honor-bound to defend it. If Earth is so far beneath you, then why is your planet constantly trying to mimic ours? Desi challenged. You use our technology whenever you can. Your military is modeled after ours, and your government is based on ours too. Hell, you even speak our language. Checkmate, Desi thought. You don't get it, do you? Wolf said, rolling her eyes. The only reason we speak English is because it was easier for my ancestors to learn your language than for humans to learn the Neophian common tongue, let alone any one of the ancient languages. When humans arrived on Neophia, the Akinians bent over backwards to welcome them, to make them feel like they were part of the people. They modified their government structure to make it easier for humans to participate in community life. They were a gentle race, and humans took full advantage of that. As for the military, we had no need for one until humans arrived and established it. Of course it's structured after Earth's military. It's just one of the countless imports human had forced on Neophia. Desi was at a loss for words, and that infuriated her. Wolf had to be exaggerating to make a point, she thought, raking her mind for any tidbit of information about the early settlements that she could throw in Wolf's face. She came up empty. If only Justin were here, he would know what to say, though at this point, Desi was pretty sure he would side with Wolf, the traitor. We shouldn't keep the captain waiting. Wolf turned and left without another word. Defeated, Desi hobbled after her.
Thank you so much. So much fun. I feel like I am really taken over tonight. So if the harbor crew has any questions, feel free to ask those. I really enjoy that we are a community here. So anybody who has questions, feel free to throw them out there. And if you don't have any, I'll be happy to ask.
I just want to ask Holly, how much did British colonialism influence this? Because I mean, it sounds very familiar from that.
Yeah,
all colonialism, actually.
Yeah, a lot of it, when I was starting to build this world and wanted to connect it to Earth, I did think back to the early colonialism and the Native Americans and a lot of the study I did on their culture there. So there's hints of that throughout. It's kind of set up to mimic that we are in now, and our history would be similar to where they are in the story.
Very cool. Kate, do you have any questions?
Yes, I'm going to ask my very favorite question to always ask everybody. So this is for all three of you. What would you say is, especially for a genre like this, what would you say is your source of research that would really surprise the room to hear about?
So Holly, let's start with you.
I read a lot of personality type stuff for my research. I have a background in environmental science and engineering, so that comes easy to me, but feelings are gross and I prefer not to have them. So writing any emotional scenes, there's a really strong romantic subplot in the first book. Those were always the hardest part for me. So I have to do a lot of research in personality types. I do personality quizzes for all of my characters to kind of figure out how they tick.
That's great. I'm so glad somebody else struggles with Enneagrams the way I do. Danielle, what about you?
Love that answer. I did a lot of military background research, specifically for one character, just trying to, get inside his life story, because I don't really have any experience with that in my world. So that was surprising to me to spend so much time researching that, just to kind of get to know somebody.
Awesome. Brent, what about you? What's your most unusual research source?
Well, for the first book, it was mostly biology to help design my different aliens. But just for interest, the second book, I spent an unusual amount of time researching the game Othello.
Wow, I haven't thought about that in years.
And because I put so much into it, I had to include a little footnote on the page to explain it, and I made it sarcastic and filthy, of course, but it's
Well,
excellent.
Othello, did you play Go as well? I mean, you might as well have gone both.
I don't believe so.
Oh,
So, so Christopher, what about you? Do you have any questions you'd like to throw out at these Captains of Literary Wonderment?
There we go. Actually, yeah. As someone who mistakenly ended up with a series, I'm wondering if the three of you, when you sat down to write your first book, was there any intention to write anything more after that first book, or did it just sort of explode on you?
Brent, what about you?
I can't say I specifically plan to do a series, but it was obvious from the beginning that you could. Two guys with a spaceship, and they can go anywhere. Obviously, you can do more with that than tell a single story. So it was probably always in my head.
Awesome. Danielle?
I had no intention of making it a series. And in fact, even when I was like, hello, I published a book, even at that point, I was like, no, I think I'm done with this. But then all of a sudden, the wheels were spinning and there was a lot more to say.
What about you, Holly?
For this series, yes, I actually had 9 or 10 storylines in my head and kind of loosely plotted out before I started writing, kind of pared it down to the 5 key ones to have an overarching plot. I have another book that I am in the process of getting ready to publish. It's an eco-terrorism book that I had intended to be a standalone, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. Feels like there's more to tell. So I don't know if I'm capable of writing a single standalone book, maybe one day.
Holly, they call that being an overachiever.
Andrew, do you have any burning questions for these captains?
I'm first going to burn my questions into Holly here. So Holly, I was always a fan of DSV.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of other things. Alan Dean Foster's Catch a Lot, and there's a series for the sequels after 20,000 Leagues. So when you were doing that, did you find that entire idea of being underwater to be foreign, or how did you work within that? Because you've got a lot of dynamics that you have to work with, everything from pressure tables on down. How did you handle that as you were writing?
Underwater stuff has always been second nature. Hunt for Red October was a constant on the TV with my dad. He liked anything submarine related growing up. I probably saw all those old war movies well before I should have. I'm a certified scuba diver. I was certified when I was 16. So this is a natural environment to me. far more than space. I find doing anything out in space far more intimidating than dealing with underwater stuff. So that felt more natural to me. And it's different than what you see in a lot of sci-fi.
It is. It's a really unique storyline.
Yeah, and then I'm curious because I'll be reading your book. It'll be on my list now, so I'll go through it really quickly. But I'm curious as well, as you went through it. I'm sure Brent, and as you go in space, there are certain things that you have in mind about ships and about craft that are in there. Did you sit down and actually design out the different craft that were going to be used in the water?
Real loosely, I kind of sketched it out more of just a diagram of all the different decks on the ship, because I am no artist and could not get a ship, on paper to save my life. So that's, though my main character did design the ship, so I gave her the artistic skills that I was lacking for that.
Awesome. So again, I want to remind everybody of your book cover so that we can make sure everybody sees this. So Crystal and Flint by Holly Ash. Very, very cool. This is the first in a series, so look for this on our Harbor catalog. I also want to remind you of the other books that we had readings from tonight. Brent D. Seth did a reading from his Short Fuse series. And Loose Cannon is the one that we want to draw your attention to today. It is the second in the series. And then The Reckoning by D.M. Taylor, also in a series. You guys in your series, I'm so impressed with everybody's ability to do this. I'm a standalone writer, at least now, because I have 35 genres to get through. So I can't imagine doing a series until I've done all of it's like ice cream, right? You got to try them all once and then figure out which one you really like. So I'm really impressed with your stick-to-itness. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you all for reading tonight. Are there any other questions from our Harbor crew before we move on to some more stuff?
There are a couple of questions in the Q&A.
Thank you.
So question for all three, who was your favorite character to write?
Danielle, start with you.
My main character's sister, Ruth, was my favorite character to write. My story has 3 point of views: the main character, her sister, and then another military character. So the sister was my favorite.
So a couple of you have written from different point of views. So I'm curious, just as a piggyback to this question, and the others, you can answer this as well. How are you structuring from a craft point of view? How are you structuring shifting POV? Are you doing it through chapter changes, through scene changes? How are you handling that from a technical standpoint for all the authors out there? Daniel?
So I don't have, within a chapter, I could switch point of view, but each time I do, I state the character's name.
Okay, excellent. So Brent, your favorite character to write, and how did you handle that POV issue?
Well, these 2 books are written first person straight out, one character through both books, so no shifting at all. The great thing about that is I only have to tell you what he knows. And but also then I can't tell you anything he didn't see or hear, so it's also limiting. But it's easy to be consistent with that. You don't no temptation to head jump. But
Sure.
My favorite character in Short Fuse, well, he's in both of them, but it was meant to be a disposable character for one scene because he was convenient. One of the Gorlaks, who later becomes named Fido, who actually became my favorite character, and everybody who reads it then tells me, I want one.
Okay, so there you go. There's a reason to read the book so you can find out who Fido is. Excellent. Holly, what about you? Favorite character, and how did you handle the POV technicality?
So for the POV, it changes roughly every other scene between the 2 main characters. I do try to use their name in the first paragraph so that you know whose point of view they're in, though they have very different styles. One's much more cocky and sarcastic, and one's more straight-laced by the book. So hopefully it's easy to tell. But my favorite character is Lieutenant James Grady. He's Crystal's best friend. He was supposed to just be kind of like a side character, come in for a couple of sarcastic comments and leave, and kind of tie Crystal to a military family. She needed to have some connection there. And he just bursts in and won't go away. And their friendship, a male-female platonic friendship, there's nothing romantic about it. It is absolutely my favorite storyline to write.
I find it really interesting that all three of you chose subplot characters and not your hero or your villain as your favorites to write. I find that tremendously intriguing. And someday we're going to have an author roundtable and have that discussion because I just think it's a very cool thing. Kate, are there more questions in the chat I need to know about?
Yes, one more, and we'll call this one the lightning round. You get to answer with one word. So the question is, do you read in the same genre you write in? So I'm going to piggyback on that and say, you can say yes or no, but then if you do like reading another genre, what is it? One word.
Holly.
No, fantasy.
Brent.
No, horror.
Danielle.
I read everything.
Okay, great. Awesome. All right. Okay, Harbor Crew, how about we give away some books? What do you say? I think this could be a fun thing. For those of you who are new to us and haven't seen this silliness before, we do this thing called the Spinny Wheel of Happiness. And because it is nautical theme this month, I have developed a nautical spinning wheel of happiness. So we are going to give away a bunch of books tonight. Let me show you first what we're going to give away, and then we'll give them away. So we are giving away 2 copies to two different people of Crystal and Flint by Holly Ash. That'll be super fun. We are giving away the set, Endemic and the Reckoning. This way. There we go. By Danielle Taylor. There we go. And we are giving away a copy of Short Fuse by Brent Seth. This is the first book in the series, right, Brent?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Now let me introduce you all, if you've never seen this before. This is the insanity we like to call the Spinning Wheel of Happiness. Nice hat, Andrew. Okay. Here we go. So this is the Spinning Wheel of Happiness. Can you all see that? No, that's not it. Stop that. Let's see if I can find it now. There. Ta-da! Is that the Spinning Wheel of Happiness? No.
Yep. Yep.
Yes? That was it?
Yep.
Okay.
We could. Yep.
Okay. I'm seeing something else on my screen. Okay. So you can see that, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So the way this works is we spin the wheel. If your name comes up on the wheel, you win a prize. It's that easy. It's that fun. It's that not complicated. I like not complicated. In case you're wondering, each one of these burgees that you see here are from the nautical alphabet. And they are representative of your first name because we are family here. And I think everybody should be on a first name basis. All right, so Andrew, distracting me with the crab thing. Okay, all right, so here we go. We're gonna spin the wheel. The first prize we're giving away is a copy of Holly's book. Here we go. Congratulations, Laura. Good job. Yay. See how easy it is? You show up, you'll win stuff. It's so simple. Okay, the next spin is going to be for another copy of Crystal and Flint by Holly Ash. Here we go. Congratulations, Tim. You won a book. See, again, so simple. It's so simple. Okay, next we are going to give away Danielle Taylor's set. It's a 2-book set tonight. So let's spin the wheel. Congratulations, Maggie. You won Daniel Taylor's 2-book set, Endemic and The Reckoning. So congratulations. And then last but not least, we are giving away a copy of Brent's book, first in the series, Short Fuse. Here we go. Congratulations, Gary, you won a book. Now you're probably wondering, okay, how is it that I win these books? Now that, Laura, Tim, Maggie, and Gary have all won books, you're probably wondering, how on earth do you get your books? Well, it's really super simple. Let me show you. I'm going to show you how to do this. See, here we go. This is also super simple. Huzzah! You have won a book. So if the Spinning Wheel of Happiness landed on your name tonight, you need to send an email to me by midnight tonight to Diana@pagespromotions.com to claim your prize. Prizes not claimed by email will be added back into the rotation for a future giveaway. You must use the same email address that you used to register for tonight's event. So congratulations, everybody. I'm so excited you guys won. This is going to be so much fun. Don't forget, for those of you who have not been part of our festival in the past, let me just remind everyone that my email list is my to-do list. So if your name doesn't show up as a claiming prize winner, and when I sit down to do my email tomorrow morning, if your name didn't show up by midnight tonight, nope, your book's going to go into the rotation for another winner in the future. So make sure you do that tonight. Now, there's an added thing, because it's not enough just for us to give away books. No, it's never just enough to give away books. We always have to do more because we're just that slightly psychotic. So here you go. This is what we're doing next. We're doing what we call a life raft lottery. Last time we did gold and silver and bronze tickets. This time we're doing life raft lottery. These are scratch off cards. When you get one in a book that you've won, so when you get your books, flip through them, and if you find a ticket, scratch it off. Every book will have a ticket in it. There will be winners and there will be non-winners. If you've won something, you need to take a picture of yourself with the winning card and post it on our Facebook page. And if you do that, you could win bonus prizes. We're giving away a ton of bonus prizes. I did not have time to get them all ready today. But just to wet your whistle a little bit, these are 3 of the bonus prizes we're giving away. The complete audiobook set from Ian Tadashi Moore. He writes amazing middle grade pictures. You're going to get all 3 CDs plus a print copy of his latest book, Where All the Little Things Are. It's amazing work. You're going to love it. Later in our festival, you're going to see a video of Ian reading from his book. He's unable to join us in person at the regatta this year, but he did forward ahead a video, so you can definitely catch that. We're going to give away a set of my creative writing workbooks, one for adults, one for children. So you guys can check those out, called The Passionate Plotter and The Passionate Plotter Kids. And also one of the bonus prizes is another of our authors, Jared Morningstar, who is not able to join us this month, sent along a copy of both of his short story and poetry collections. So we're going to give those away. Just so that everybody understands, our bonus prizes are limited. These are not forever bonus prizes this time around. Not everybody is going to get one. So the most important thing is, if you find a ticket, a scratch off card in your book, scratch it off and post that picture with your winning ticket as soon as you can, because first come, first win. That's how that's going to work. Okay. In addition to that, Kate set the bar last month really high for our super bonus prizes. So we're going to talk about this for just a second. Super bonus prizes. There's a bunch of bonus prizes here that we're giving away. Mark Bello is donating a complete set minus the most recent book of his books. That's right, 5 books. That's one of the super bonus prizes. Another of the super bonus prizes is Jacob Bullen is giving away a 6-book set of his collection, plus a really snazzy, super amazing t-shirt. That's a super bonus prize. Another super bonus prize, something new that we're doing at Pages Promotions, we are developing a card game akin to poker, super fun. It's directly connected to the indie author community. And we've also developed a brand new board game, which is about the writing life. And Kate got to see this a couple weeks back. We had a really good time with this, right, Kate?
I love it.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it.
It's super fun. You're going to have a good time. So the 2-game set is one of our bonus prizes. We're going to give away 3 sets. So that's super fun. How do you get a super bonus prize? This is how. If you have won one of those winning Life Raft lottery tickets, you need to go online, and this will be posted on Facebook in our announcements tab so you can find it and practice. This is a poem I've written, and you have to perform it dramatically and in costume. Andrew knows all about drama and costume. If you have questions, ask Andrew. He'll probably perform this with you if you ask him nicely, because he's that kind of guy. This is the poem. What you need to do is perform this poem for us, videotape your performance, and post it on our Facebook page. Again, this is a first do, first win kind of a situation because we don't have unlimited prizes. Here's the poem. This comes from, I borrowed it from a campfire song I learned in Girl Scouts. Out of my window, looking in the night, I can see the sailboats flickering light. Starboard shines green, and port is glowing red. I can see the sailboats straight ahead. Sailboats, are there treasures in your holds? Many trunks filled with silver and gold. Sailboats, are there captains at your helm, bringing books for readers of our town? There you go. See how cool that is? So if anybody would like a chance at those extra super bonus prizes, that's how you do it. You got to get creative, and it's got to be in costume for you to be eligible to win. And how are we going to decide who wins? It's going to be you're putting it on the Facebook page, and at the end of the month, we will have a voting contest. All the members of our Facebook page will vote on the videos that you all post, and then we will give away the super bonus prizes at our Venetian night wrap party on June 30th. So that's how that works. If anybody has any questions, reach out to me or the Harbor crew, and we'll be happy to help you answer any questions. Last thing before we do shots across the bow, I would like to remind you that we have a brand new interactive Harbor Store catalog on our website. Kate put the direct link in the chat already. She's probably going to put it in there again because she's just that kind of person. So you can jump there. It will give you links to all of the authors, all of the books that we're featuring this month. You can connect directly with them. You can buy from them. 100% of the royalties go with the authors. Pages Promotions is taking none of that because our job here is to introduce you to authors and their work. So that's all I have for tonight. I would like parting shots across the bow from our Harbor crew, and then we'll close out the evening. Brett, do you have any parting shots across the bow for us, sir?
No, just I'm glad everyone came by to watch us tonight, and I hope to see you again, especially at the end of the month when Chris and I do our world building webinar.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Christopher, shots across the bow, sir.
I greatly enjoyed all the readings tonight. I love being able to meet new authors, whether you're from afar or you're close by. I loved every second of it. I can't wait to see what else is coming up this month.
Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be a fun month. There's a lot going on. Kate, any shots across the bow?
This is a really, really great start to this month's festival. I think it's going to be a really good one. You guys did a great job stepping up first ones of the month. I can't wait to see how much more fun we have this month.
It's going to be a lot of fun. This is only day one. I also want to acknowledge Deborah Reed. She was not able to be on camera and microphone tonight, but we love her dearly. And we really, really appreciate all of her help in maintaining our festivals. She's an integral part of our harbor crew, and we're tremendously grateful to her. Mr. Andrew Smith, do you have any parting shots across the bow?
Do I like to talk? Oh, this is the first one, and what a great way to start. We have three very dynamic authors that all three read with passion and prose, and this was super. Thanks everybody. I mean, this was just a really good way to start. I have DM's book. I have Brent's book. I need to write the reviews. I know I'm slow on that. Holly, while we were sitting here, I now have your book. So we're gonna have some fun. Someday when I write all the reviews, you'll all go, yeah. But just thanks so much for starting this off so well, and thanks everybody for attending. It's a good start, and I hope everybody keeps joining us all month. Tomorrow it's gonna be fun, and pick your classes. There's gonna be some great classes. Get in there early and let's rock this place and interact and be great authors. And if you're just a reader and join anyway. Be a part of all of this. This is going to be great.
It is. It's going to be a lot of fun. For those of you who are wondering, if you have friends and family who are unable to attend tonight, we will post the replay of tonight's event on our Facebook page tomorrow. It links directly to our YouTube channel, where you'll be able to see everything that's going on this month, minus the Sailor Shore School, and everything from past festivals that we've done as well. So check that out. And yes, Sailor Shore School. It's a tongue twister.
One more time. Say it again.
Yes, sir. Sailor Shore School.
Okay, we got it now. Okay.
Awesome. Everybody, thank you for coming out. Authors, captains of literary wonderment, we appreciate you. Thank you for being brave enough to step up on day one. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Bye-bye.
Bye.